Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share my journal lineup for 2021. Now my journal lineup this year is quite less compared to what I had last year because I realized that I cannot manage several journals at the same time, and I have reduced the number of journals drastically compared to what I had last year. Now let us begin with the first journal. In fact, that is not a journal exactly. It is more of notebooks that I'm using in addition to my planner for work. This folio or journal setup is a companion to my EC focused planner that I showed in my last video. And this will remain as long as I use the planner, after which I have a different setup for work. Now this is one of the newer folios, the Camel one, and I have the same books in this folio. I have just changed the folio for a new year. Last year I used the wine folio and it worked great, and I love the simple colors, the wine and now the camel, for work purposes. Currently I have kept the previous folio in a dust bag as I am not using it as of now. And I also have the metal bookmark, which is also a new release from EC, and I feel that this word is perfect for 2021. This is not a necessity, of course, it is just for decorative purposes, and I love how it looks on this folio, and that is why I have used it. Inside I have the EC folio insert, which is a wonderful product as far as I am concerned. Currently you do not see anything in it simply because I had shifted it from the previous folio to this one. But generally I have a lot of bookmarks, the magnetic bookmarks from EC or any other bookmarks or sticky notes that I commonly use. What I love about this insert is that you can move it around from one folio to another, because if you use the sticky pockets, you cannot change it. It is just remaining in that folio. But this one you can move it around as you need it. I will advise you to not buy more than one insert if you do not carry your folios around. For me, I have several folios that I use at home. I do not use the inserts in any of these simply because they all are at home and I do not need an insert for them. This is the only folio that I carry to work. So I removed this insert from my previous folio and shifted it to this one. Moving on to the books that I have in here, both of them are habit trackers from EC, and what I do with them is I use them as checklist journals for work purposes. As you can see, I have a lot of bookmarks in here to keep my place in it as such, and that is it. I just keep two journals in here. I leave the two bands at the center just like they are, and I do not carry any unnecessary notebooks in here. Generally what I have along with these is also a planny pack, which I attach to the back cover of the book so that the planny pack can stay in the folio, unlike how most people put it outside the folio. So that is what I do, and I keep the planny pack in the folio. Currently I'm using one of the smaller pouches from EC, that is why there is no planny pack inside the folio. So this is my work journal setup for 2021. Moving on to my next journal. Now this is my second folio, and by now I think it is pretty clear, you know, that I love the metal bookmarks from EC because I have all three of them, and I also have the one that came in the seasonal surprise box. Now this is Create and it is in rose gold, and I think it looks beautiful on this mustard folio. Again, this is an old folio, but I love this folio cover, and I feel that this bright color suits the purpose of this journal as such. Now coming to the inside of the folio, in most of my older folios I have put in the EC sticky pocket, the large one as such. Frankly, I do not use it much, even though I have used the sticky pocket, but that is something that you could do if you're interested in that. Now in this folio I have three journals, all of which are EC. Of course, you can use other similar A5 size journals in the folios. You do not have to stick to EC journals as such. Now coming to the journals, this one is a blank one, and it is in fact a used journal from last year. There were many journals in my lineup last year and I ended up not using them completely. So this year I've decided to completely use them before going on to any new stationery. And this one is a used book, but I will be using it completely this year to learn hand lettering. That is something I have been interested in some time. And since I got a free brush pen with the Hobonichi order that I got last time, I decided I will give it a try. And this is for that purpose. I have no idea about anything related to hand lettering, but I want to try it out. So that is the purpose of this journal. Moving to the second one. This is also a used journal. I am trying to improve my handwriting as such, and therefore this is for some handwriting practice simply. Again, a used journal, and that is all. This one is for language learning. I am learning a language and this is specifically for that. Again, this is also a used journal. So this entire folio that you see here is in fact all of used books that that were half used last year. So I plan on completing that before I use any more new books as such. And this is my mustard folio that I've chosen for this year. Oh, another thing that I would point out is that the reason I chose this folio, one, simply I feel that it is bright and would suit the needs I'm using it for at home. And secondly, also because I happen to break one of the bands inside the folio. So there are exactly 3 bands in the folio right now. And it broke within around 1 week of me getting the folio. I did not make an issue out of it because I feel that it was probably my mistake. I did not know how to insert the books correctly and I was probably a little rough with the bands. So yes, there are currently only 3 bands in the folio, but all my other folios are in great condition. So I would definitely recommend the folios if you're interested in them. Now moving on to my last journal for this lineup. This is probably the only new journal that I have this year. This is a Hobonichi cover in A6 size. Let me frankly tell you, I got this cover not for the journal, simply because I loved the cover. I loved this Liberty fabric cover that came out last year and I just had to have it. I will definitely put a cover on this later because it is quite expensive and I do not want this to get messed up. Now what I have inside is a Midori notebook in A6 size and this is grid. So what this will work as is my church journal for this year. Specifically church journal, when I say that I will be taking down notes during the sermon as such. It is not my personal faith journal as such, it is not my Bible study journal, but specifically church journal purposes. Now of course you can write your name down here, and I have some circle stickers which I generally use a lot in my church journals. This is one journal that I consistently used last year. Therefore, I was sure that I will definitely have this in my lineup even if I did not have any other journals as such. So yes, that is all. And I also have their Hobonichi A6 folders in which I have these label stickers from EC. Frankly, I do not like them, but I'm using them to write down the dates and which day I was attending the sermon, because it is not only about Sundays. Now since we have online church, I see a lot of sermons online whenever I can, so these are just for me to label the days and dates as such. Frankly, I do not like them, but I have a lot of them and I thought I could use it up in this journal. Now that is my church journal setup for 2021. Now with that, I am done with my journal lineup for this year. I'm curious to know whether any of you have a larger lineup for journals, or is it limited to just one journal, because I am trying to be more responsible and not create too many waste in the form of stationery, and try to use the stationery that I currently have for a longer period of time. That was the main purpose when I got these folios and covers as such, because they are not one use items for me. They can be used for a longer period of time as long as I want them. And what I do is I shift between them so that I do not feel bored, and with a new year I have a different cover, and it makes me feel better about the books that I'm using or the journals that I'm using. And like I said earlier, I have definitely reduced the number of journals from what I used last year. Do you have something similar in mind for your lineup this year, or are you using several journals? How does it work out for you? Please put it down in the comments below. I would love to go through them. I hope you like this video. Please give it a thumbs up and put down your comments below. See you next time.